wait my 1 minute? No? Okay. All right, we are going to call the meeting, Streets and Traffic, March 24th, 2025 is 5:14 and some seconds. Everyone, please turn off your electronic devices or put them on vibrate. May I have roll call, please?
Chairman Robinson,
Present.
Member Savada,
Here.
Member Merritt, absent, Member Parker.
Here.
Member McMahon,
Here.
Member Cornelius.
Here.
Member Lopez.
Here. Yay, we have a quorum. I have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the call to the public? Nope. Okay, streets and traffic update. Steve.
Currently, staff is working on a couple of different items. We started to do our edge of pavement along all the new recently paved roads. So over there 18th, 19th, and then over there District 9. And that's basically getting the right-of-way up to the level of the pavement. It prevents the edge of the pavement from breaking away. So staff has started it. They finished everything over there. They're starting on this section last week. I think they got 1 day in. They'll be back on it for the next few weeks probably, because all of those roads over there are going to need to be built up so we can do it that way. Today they were out at Parker South. We had an inspection by, I want to say somebody from the Arizona Corporation Commission, but I'm not sure if that was the correct group. But anyway, we had some signage for the railroad crossings on both Parker Boulevard and Central that we had to replace. The signage wasn't, the size of the signs actually have changed, so we had to get larger signs. And there was some pavement markings that they hit us on as well, so we'll take care of that. So staff's been out there and they did some pothole replacements along Central. There's a lot of activity with construction and EWS going out to their property, so those roads are getting beat up pretty good right now. Outside of that, staff is just doing normal routine work. We are short-staffed, so we basically just have 2 staff members working in the street department right now, and Ms. Nora is allowing us to hire one person back, and not really sure if it's going to be directly in streets. So we'll at least have another staff member here in the next few weeks, hopefully. That will help out, but we're down a total of 3 right now. So we're short 3 full-time employees.
Well, Arizona was a pretty big project, but it seemed to get done pretty well of the,
Yeah, so the crack
Filling.
ceiling is completed. Arizona was a very big, in my time and in Jesse's time here, he's been here 18 years. They've never done any crack ceiling on Arizona. So it was way overdue.
it needed it.
It
It
needed
was,
it badly.
I know in front of my office, but
It's
they
just
did a very good job.
temporary Band-Aid. That road does need a full probably replacement. Don't know if I'll get to it in my time here, but if we can find some grant funding to do it in, say, the next 10 years, 5 to 10 years, we definitely want to do that. It's one of those roads that is, because of its width, it's very expensive. So at least getting from California to Laguna done, and then work on the rest of it maybe at another time. But that main downtown area, it's a huge project. You're probably looking at a $2 million project just for that.
Just for that,
Yeah.
3 blocks.
Yeah.
Well, with all the downtown experience, I mean, it does get quite a bit with everything that we
Yeah,
do
and
with
it
the
would be
parades
worth
and
it. That's
everything.
why
It's-
back in the day, you know, one of Tim Edwards' big project was to do those two streets over there, and that was one of the reasons why is because the traffic and just the kind of the aesthetic look of Joshua on both sides there between 12th and 14th. That's why those were redone, and so we need to do the same thing with that other segment, those other segments to make it kind of match.
Well, and I was gonna bring up a couple that's a reoccurring, but before I could even bring it up, they got to a couple of the big potholes that are reoccurring right at Agency and Joshua. That just, but
It's an
They're do-
ongoing
they're
thing.
done.
That's another road. It's way past due. That's actually
But
going to be a
they've
much
already
bigger
fixed 'em.
project. But we've got, unfortunately, a number of those. 18th Street, 16th Street. I mean, the list
but
goes on and
they're
on.
done. They did a great job. But I did want to bring up when we were going around on our field trip that Nora had brought up a concern on somewhere, but we couldn't find where the concern was.
Oh yes, we did look at that.
It was
were-
at
we were looking
Kofa.
for,
It was
uh,
on
it was on
Kofa and
Kofa.
8th, I think.
Yeah, we
But we-
drove that whole
but we
segment
couldn't
actually
find
all
it.
the way up and down, and we couldn't. So whatever, some constituent or somebody mentioned something, we looked for it, but we couldn't. Between all the eyes, whoever was on
Yeah, we were looking
all
for
looking.
it. So,
the.
well, we did look.
Yeah,
So
we did. We made
get
a
it
point
brought up
to
again,
look
we'll
at,
address
to
it.
see if we could find out whatever the issue was, but we couldn't determine what might be the issue, so. If it is an issue, I'm sure they'll bring it back up.
How about Parker South? Is that ever going to need repaving out there?
Parker South needs a lot of work, and so,
That's a lot of road out there that goes nowhere. You know,
I've,
well, yeah, my
I've
goodness.
spoken to Don at the county, Don Braska, Public Works Director for the county. He actually has equipment to do chip seal. He's got a chip box, and so it really just depends on whether or not, I know I've talked to Nora about this, so he's willing to actually do the road. But the problem being is it's more than just doing a chip seal on that, and we'll have to actually remove the road and build up the base, because the biggest issue with those roads out there is we don't have a big enough base, a thick enough base. And so that's why those roads have fallen apart the way they have. It's costly, you know, and all these projects just come down to money, and it's just, they're very expensive. And they're not getting any cheaper. So it is something that we're looking at, and I know we have actual a new tenant going in out there here in the next. Yeah, they've already purchased the property, and that's down on Industrial. So Liquid Titan right there. They actually, did they split that, or they just sold? Yeah, they split it, and so they sold it to. Sold one half of it to BP Fuels.
So they're moving their West Coast.
Yeah, their West Coast operations.
No way.
So it's a big deal. That road at some point is going to need to be redone, because it won't hold up to that sort of traffic. It's barely holding up now just to the traffic for EWS. So we'll have to address that. But I mean, that's one alternative that I've worked, I've talked to Nora about it, and if we can make that happen with the county, that would be great. If we can't, then yeah, we're actively searching and looking for grants for all of these big street projects, so we can get some help. Congressional grants, just regular CDBG grants, STBG grants. So we're looking
ABCD
into
grants.
opportunities that we possibly can, federal, state, to try to get some funds.
Okay.
Couldn't have asked.
It's a lot, and we can only nickel and dime things, and it becomes just a waste of money to try to nickel and dime things. You either gotta rip it down and do it upright, otherwise you're gonna be having that same exact problem, happen real quick.
Well, again, it just comes down to prioritizing, families first and industrial ends up at the back of the bus. Any other questions? Okay. Anything else to add, Steve?
Nope, that's it.
Don't see anything under old business. Everyone look over the minutes that were distributed. Do you have any questions? We have a motion to approve the minutes as distributed.
I do.
I move or second. whatever.
Moved second.
I have a
Motion to
motion.
approve.
I have a motion to approve, and I have a second by
Right.
Ray. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. We have a discussion approve to request a stop sign at the intersection of Fifth and Mojave from Kathleen Torres. Would you like to have discussion?
It is a really, like a hill on it. And so I have a lot of kids in my neighborhood and I live right on the corner of there. And for some reason, there's a safe hillish on 4th, there's a safe hill on 6th, yet they want to bomb my hill. And the traffic on Mojave, they fly through there. They're not doing 25, they're doing 40 miles per hour. And including my own children, they just go down there without, any look in both directions. And my fear is they're going to get hit one day. And I feel like a stop sign might help prevent that.
Now, you on Mojave or on Fifth?
I'm on 5th.
You're on
I'm on
Fifth.
5th, and I'm really on the corner of 5th Mojave. My house is right there, so. But I have a lot of kids by neighborhood, and every single one of them choose my hill, and they don't look. And the traffic on there, because there is no stop sign. I know that Ocotillo got a stop sign, I think probably to help prevent people flying through there. Over by Crossroads, that street got a stop sign, I think probably the same reason. Now, my street is one of the streets. Cove is pretty crazy too, but that street, people fly through there. And the hill, the kids come to that hill because it's a good hill. They ride their bikes down, motorcycle, little thingies, everything's down there. And I'm just afraid, including my own children, could get hit with the cars out there. So I'm hoping a stop sign would help.
I know, I'm on Joshua, and it's like, right now, I think everywhere, it's like Autobahn. So I'm not sure what,
Well, stop signs aren't meant for speed control. And it's not something that you take lightly, just don't throw stop signs in. There's actually state statute and federal standards dictate to you not to use stop signs in this type of application. Obviously, we've installed stop signs throughout the years for various reasons. But I think what needs to be done first before you take that step is you're actually supposed to have a traffic study or a traffic engineer study in order performed at the location to see if even a stop sign is warranted at locations. So if we want to go down that route, then we would have to do that first. Outside of that piece, we need to, I've already spoken to Chief Bailey about it. He hasn't had any reports of what you're speaking of, the speeding. So we need to obviously have the police piece of it and have them actually do some enforcement over there to see what we can do from that sort of control first. Whether that means if there's specific times that you're seeing this activity.
that's what I was gonna
it's
ask. Do
really
you
important
notice?
to let them know,
I'm not as
or I can let them know. Is it throughout the day, every day? Is there specific days? That would be helpful so they can actually go out there and do some investigating themselves and ticketing if need be. But that's kind of how the approach has to work. I can't just install stop signs. In fact, I can't even install stop signs.
No.
It actually goes before the council.
I know we've had this concern come up before in different areas, but if you could kind of make yourself a little more aware of where you see like the biggest encroachment of, if there's a more specific time where you get a lot of that, where it's more when they're on the way to work or coming home from work kind of area where we could maybe alert Chief Bailey to, like, this is where,
Well, I see when I'm outside, so the night, the weather is nice, all the
Mhm.
kids are out, so
Mhm.
anywhere from, after 3 to on, every day on the weekends, like, we're out there in the morning times, and
Mhm.
it's the, you know, it's not even, maybe even speed, but maybe for people to, because it's more of the hill and the kids wanting to be on that hill, and they're just headed straight to that road. They're going straight to that road. So maybe if a stop sign would be a precaution, that these people who are driving are more aware that they are going to have to stop because there's someone coming down that no matter what. So even if it's not just speed, it could be just because there's kids at play right there
Yeah,
on
because
that hill.
well, that too, because obviously you have one at Sixth, so you have the stop sign at Sixth in Mojave, and you would think the speed would be stopped right there. And so if speed is an issue, or if they're just, like you say, going to that particular location because of that hill and speeding down that hill, you know, that's certainly something that PD can look at and hopefully ticket folks. And we all know there's certain people that like to speed around town. And so certain individuals, no matter what, they're gonna be speeding. So if it's a situation in which it's certain individuals doing this and they're found and they're ticketed, maybe that would help. But that's sort of the process in which we go to install stop signs is first would be PD to try to do some traffic control and some work over there. And if that doesn't work, then we move to the next step, which is have a traffic study done at that particular location to see if it would be warranted to put a stop sign there. And then, of course, if it comes back to where it would be warranted, then it would go to council for approval.
Okay. Marsh, you had a question?
Or, excuse me, mostly comment. He answered most of the questions I was going to say on that, you know, like how do we go about, you know, the process of that. And do you live on top on the hill, or do you live down below on that? There's 4 houses on that corner.
Yeah, I live on top. I have the big tan fence.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. You out there with your kids on the road sometimes?
I got, yeah, I
Yeah.
have, and then Brittany from Wells Fargo, her 3 kids live across the street from
Yeah.
me. Amanda Weatherford, she's got 3 kids, catty corner. Plunkett is behind me. There's a lot of kids, and they're just coming of the age where they're about to be, you know, they're old enough to go outside and play, but not old enough to really look at their circumstances. So even if it's not a speed problem, it's just maybe a precaution because of the hill, and it literally just dumps straight into that street.
Yeah, no, I'm Parker old school, so I kind of like to see kids playing in the street. Yeah, and I believe I see you out there with them, you know, so it's not as though they're out there alone. And there are quite a bit of kids in that intersection. I travel Fifth Street every day, the entire length. There's no 4-way stops at all on Fifth Street. But I find myself that the most of the speeders, because as I'm traveling east, I find most of the speeders coming from the north, like coming up farther towards Blake School, because I have a hard time sometimes pulling out right there, looking, you know, the people park right there on that house on the left. So I have to kind of creep out there, and those cars come quick. So I get your point. I
Even
get
if
your
it's
point.
not technically speeding, 25 miles an hour and a child is
Yeah.
it's quite fast.
Absolutely.
Not that it's a solution, but right by my house, mainly because now that the one at 7th, it's almost like they decided to just punch it now. But I had a bunch of kids out by mine, and there was a child that was hit by my house, but my neighbor actually got green signs.
Children at play.
I mean, it's not,
Giant cones, but I don't-
Yeah,
I'm not
and
gonna
it-
take my cones out if I'm out there. But
it's-
if I'm out there, my kids out there, my cones are out there to help.
well, they were actually kids at play.
The one, I know you're talking about. The little
Yeah,
one,
and I mean, it kind of makes them maybe a little bit aware. I mean, it's not a deterrent, obviously, but it might be an idea for you, just to give your,
Right.
you know, them a little bit of awareness, like, yeah, maybe I should look a little bit more, but,
When I'm out there, and I did just buy the biggest cones that I could find at Home Depot. There's 2 of them. So when my kids are out there, my cones are out there. But if you know, if I'm not out there, I'm not gonna leave my cones out there for somebody to
Right,
with them.
no, sure.
Well, Chief Bailey has a
Trailer? Yeah.
a speed trailer that we can place, and we're actually looking to, he does have a message board trailer that it's not functioning very well, but we can certainly look at placing those out there to give some high visibility and some warnings to those folks, and just keep it in place. We've done that. We did that on Joshua. I've done that on Akofa. So yeah, that's probably something that he'll end up doing, and that we can do to help at least get the awareness out there. And then becomes to the point, all right, does that help? You take it away, and if it's still present, then we go down those next steps. So, but he is aware of it, and I'll reach out to Lieutenant Ferris, because Chief Bailey's actually in Quantico, Virginia for the next 4 months. So I'll work with Lieutenant Ferris on it.
Present an argument on both sides. I see that it's a block away from school, and there's four-way intersections at the school. So I could very well see kids get out of school, go down the street. It's a massively populated area with kids at 3 o'clock. And it's not just like the corner of the school. They kind of, you know, Mom, I'll pick you up a block away because I don't want to deal with school traffic and everything else. Walk down the street, you know, I'll pick you up over here. So when the kids scatter at 3, I can see that a whole area being just a cluster of children. I could see stop signs, or at least four-way stops, extending in a kind of a perimeter to aid after-school traffic, or making speed limits 15 mile an hour during school zone, that type stuff, or doing kids at play signs.
Which those are posted all around the school.
15
You
during,
could-
yeah, you
so
could, you could
certainly
extend that
extend it,
out,
yeah.
you know, or make whatever.
Mhm.
I don't think that the children at play signs are gonna do anything, because if people are speeding, they're gonna speed anyway. They're gonna be like, oh, kids at play, awesome, I don't see any, and then continue to speed. So, sounds great, I don't think will do anything. But the fact that you are a block away from the school, there is something there. I would agree that, yes. The counter argument to that is, I think the root cause people speed through there is because the way to get through this town drives most people insane. You got some streets with stop signs, some streets without stop signs, some streets with some stop signs and they're not up. It's insane. Aside from that, they pick a street, like this case, Mojave, because I just looked, there's no stop signs in that direction all the way to, I think it's Agency, and then nothing continuing going that way. So
Well, Mojave, you have it at 6
six to the school, yes, and then nothing to Agency, and then on the other side of Agency, it keeps going, nothing all the way to, what is that, the high school?
Well, that's why we ended up putting the one on Third or in Ocotillo, because they were taking the Autobahn from Mojave to go around to the main, back the Ocotillo to Third, so they could go around the back way instead of going through all the stop signs. So that was this crazy zone.
Yes.
So I think, I don't know. I don't know what the best way to go forward with that is, but I think that, I don't know. But for sure, like around school time, I could for sure see this is just not a good situation, especially that street without any stop signs, peak day, 3 o'clock, summertime, nobody paying attention, just whatever, it's a nightmare way to happen. I can see it. But that doesn't cause the issue of how do you get people from one end of town to the other somewhat efficiently by just putting a stop sign at every intersection.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you do, you're not going to please
I don't know.
everybody.
I don't know. I think a speed trailer, raise some awareness, get some officers sitting there and give some real warnings like, hey man, have you ever thought about when you roll over this hill with a blind spot, there's a 6-year-old playing in the street. You know how long it takes to stop your car at 30 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Kid's dead. And just really convey that and it'll help, or at least it should.
Yeah, with the Children at Play sign that we installed over there at 18th, in what's that, Ocotillo? I haven't heard any issues over there since we installed that sign. So, I mean, that's an option as well. So, yeah, there's some steps that we'll need to take.
What about a speed
and
bump? Is that a real thing?
Speed bump is not something that you want to do.
Okay.
No.
I
Would
was
not
gonna say,
recommend
have
a
you
speed
taken any
bump.
videos, or have you been prompted to do any videos and submit them to the police?
I mean, I can. I have a video camera on my side of my house, but it doesn't quite, it doesn't
I mean,
quite
with
get
your
the-
cell phone or something, if you see something flying by, just kind of, I don't
Or
know.
just a description of
Yeah,
a vehicle.
Just be more, more
um,
specific or whatever.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's
it-
hard. I get it.
And it's not always. the
Because you're
speed-
not out there to do that. You're out there to watch the
Right.
kids, and
Right,
so
and it's not always the speed. I mean, when you're out there, there's maybe one person that's
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, bro, you're going too fast."
yeah.
But it's mostly just getting. It's gonna be that kid that. It's not gonna be the car's fault. It's more of the. It's gonna be the kid's fault for not looking at where they're
Yeah.
going. But and it's gonna be. My kid's out there doing the same thing. I'm like, dude, you gotta look. You gotta look.
Yeah.
But he's 7. My other one is 4. There's a range anywhere from 4-year-olds out there
Mhm.
to 9-year-olds. I think are the oldest ones out there, and they don't look. They don't
Right.
have the brain cells to look.
Yeah.
So I think the stop sign is more to have someone be more representative in that area. Like there's a gathering in this hill. It's not just speeders because it's rare. You have a speed sign out there. They're doing 25 miles. It's more the hill. It's more of just trying to get people to stop and pay attention to that side street, specifically on that hill.
Yeah.
Because the kids are down there. They're just out there having fun, not paying attention. So I feel like maybe a stop sign would draw attention to the area more and like, oh, there's a kid right here, not looking, like,
Right.
versus trying to slam on her brakes or, the worst case scenario.
All right.
6 speed bumps.
Any other discussion on the subject? Gloria,
Hi.
you have anything to add?
I have a question, but I think that the lady that asked me to ask the question should be here like the way this young lady is. It's on Chimawavy, I think it's Chimawavy, the one that's where Sarape is? Is that Chimawavy or Bronco?
That's Chimawavy.
Okay,
Mhm.
Chimawavy, she lives right on the corner, I think it's 12th Street.
Okay.
Who owns the buildings that are surrounding her house? They're storage units.
Is that
13th
Rogers'
Street,
old building?
Is it
Or
13th, yeah, they built a couple of new big ones over there.
Yeah, one on one side, and
Yeah.
she's right in the corner, and she has one here and one back. She hasn't complained, she says, who owns it?
I have no idea who owns them.
is it are they red? Is that Trader Tim?
No, it's
You
one
can-
block.
You
like
could
one
ask
block.
the La Paz County assessor.
Yeah, that's public
Give you a
records.
name and address of them.
Mhm.
Okay. And then she wanted to know if our organization's the one that takes care of something like that, or is it only streets? I said, I'll bring it up.
As far as takes care of
They
traffic
built
around
those
there?
storage units,
Uh-huh.
but she says that people keep walking through the building that is, you said 13th Street? Walking, the building that's facing 13th Street, there's a whole block there, like an alleyway. And then the building that's facing Chimawavy, another storage unit over here, they just use that, and that's her backyard.
Her backyard isn't fenced.
No. It got fenced by whoever owns it for their,
I know
but they
how that
never put a
works.
door. They never put a gate. So that's where they're crossing by. So who does she go to? That's
That
what
would
she
be
wanted
more
to
of a community development situation, I would think, with code enforcement or something like that.
Because what happens is she's butted up to commercial,
Yeah.
and commercial can go to the
PO.
property line, because that's what happened at my house.
Mhm.
And it goes right to the property line. So there's no 5 foot on each side, so there's no easement. So hers, she has that part, and where people are used to alleyway,
Yeah, that's,
she doesn't have alleyway, it's her property, so they think it's like everywhere else where you have that space in between. But when you have commercial butting up to personal, you think it's property line, when she doesn't have any because it's personal property.
Yeah,
So
she
you've
just
got
needs to come in and
commercial-
talk to community development first. I would
Okay.
talk to them first,
Personnel,
and
then
then
the-
they would let me know if there's any issues, anything that I can help with
Apparently.
on my end.
probably through
Maybe
there.
some signage or something, because she's got no fencing,
there's
so
easement
they
there.
just assume it's
okay.
good land.
Well, she had said that they put fencing, the property owners, they put fencing on this property facing 13th, and they put the fencing this way. They just didn't put the gates. They didn't, they left it open. And that's where the people are the kids are walking through.
That's on the
Yeah.
back side of the storage? Is
Uh,
that what they're talking about, or the front side of that
the
storage?
back,
The back side,
uh-huh.
yeah.
the back part.
Yes, so community development is probably where she needs to go.
And then she wanted to know the light pole that's up on Chimawavy.
Mm-hmm.
Who replaces those bulbs? Because
APS.
they keep popping them.
They're breaking the bulbs?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I don't have no light back there.
Okay.
So-
So it's Chimawave and
13th?
13.
Arizona?
No,
13.
13.
Well, 13th Arizona, I
No,
believe.
13th Street. It's
Oh.
Arizona
Oh,
Avenue.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Arizona.
Same difference, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It's behind that big storage unit that's facing Arizona, no, facing
It's facing,
Riverside.
Riverside Flow,
Riverside Drive and facing El Serape.
behind the boat storage.
Yeah, okay, the boat storage there. Her house is right in the corner there.
it's like her house and then the storage.
That
and
new-
then
Storage
another
unit
house.
on this side and storage unit in the back,
Do you know what street the light pole's on?
on Chimoe.
Okay. We do have, last look, I think it went about half a dozen streetlight repairs into APS, so we'll check to see where those are. I don't know if that particular light pole is on the list for them to repair, but, so when we get, when we do our normal checks of the streetlights, we actually generate a APS outage request, meaning we submit to them the location, the pole number, and then they basically do all the repairs. Those could take, unfortunately, anywhere from a month to a year to get fixed in some cases. It's
I'm
just-
recalling
that's-
back, it's not Arizona Avenue. What's the street where La Piazza is?
11th.
11th.
That's the street. Right on 11th and Chimoe,
Okay.
right there. I'm like, no, it's not Arizona because I'm on Arizona.
Big boat storage area that
Yeah,
you're
the
talking
big
about.
one facing Riverside.
Okay.
So then she should come and speak to community development. Okay, all right. And you'll look at the light.
Yep, we'll look at the light.
All right. That was what she wanted to know. Thank you.
Of course. Any other discussion? Future topics? Nope.
What was
Yeah.
the disposition on hers? There's can
Yeah,
check
it's,
into it?
I wanted to, I know we don't have very many people come and complain.
Mhm.
I want to give her something of what we're gonna do or not do about it. I don't want her to leave with like, we talked, but
We're just
what
gonna look
can-
into it.
what can we do?
Well, regarding the stop sign,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
whatever-
going to be
whatever.
talking to Lieutenant Ferris
Oh, okay.
about getting some deterrent on just more police visibility or possibly the
The radar sign.
radars or the
message board
signage or
sign.
the speed, just to basically make them aware that sometimes if they think something's coming, then they might choose a different direction, possibly. But as far as that, looking at a stop sign, that's, like Steve said, we've
Farther
looked at
down
it
the road.
before, and it's not meant to be a speed deterrent, but I think if we put something in place with, the PD involved, that maybe we can maybe deter them, or maybe they'll find a different route. If,
Yeah, so there's definitely steps, and so that's the
Mm-hmm.
first step is in the process, and then we wait and see. So we can certainly put it on the agenda and have it on the agenda each month, and then we can give the updates.
and see if we've
Based off
got,
of what PD is doing, and then if it works out, or how long we keep it in place. So it could go a few months. I know that's how we've done it in the past, and so once you put the signage up there or the radar stuff up there, obviously it has to stay there for a period of time, whether it be a month, 60 days, and then we report on activity during those 60 days, and then once you take it away and see what happens.
can we do a check back on that in 60 days, see if we've got,
Yeah, no, we can, like I said, I've already talked to Chief Bailey about this at the council meeting last week. I asked him about it, so and that's what got me thinking, I actually have gone over there and just sat and watched to see what's going on. Obviously, it requires more than just me going out there, and it requires PD doing their piece of it too, their work on it. And I can't give you a specific timeframe or let you know how things are going to go. Obviously, we don't know those.
No, I mean,
those
that's
things, so-
fine. I just don't want her to leave here with like, I came with a concern and I got nothing.
Maybe you can let us know if it's gotten better.
Summer's coming. You're not gonna see any kids out there. So that's the issue too. So I've been waiting for the guys to gather back together. I've been asking around. I've asked so many times when this meeting comes and I was just like, oh, they're not meeting yet. They're not meeting yet. Well, here you guys are meeting. The summer's coming. You're not gonna see a kid
Yeah.
outside in 100,000
gonna die
degrees.
down.
Right.
So this was a winter problem, spring
Okay.
problem. So the next maybe a month, you'll see a couple kids out there. My kids will be out there, but once it gets to 90 degrees, which it is now,
Right.
you're not gonna see a lot of kids. So at this point, you're gonna go, oh, no, there's no problems out there because there's no kids playing.
Do you primarily see the issues during the colder season then, huh?
Yeah, that's when if it's nice outside, we're outside. It's not cold, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
We're outside majority of winter time. So as of right now, you'll see in my front yard, because that's the one place I have grass. I'm
Okay.
hanging in the grass and the sprinklers, but we won't be riding bikes mostly because it's hot. So, and yeah, you're gonna stick somebody out there, but you're not gonna see any problems because there's no
Okay.
kids playing.
Noted.
So, yeah, it's
Understood.
more of a October to April.
Gotcha.
Kids will be out there. We're out there constantly.
Okay. Got anything else? Okay, then we are adjourned.